I would like to show you what is currently possible with strat finding and the parkour calculator. So let's consider this jump. I'd say this is still somewhat of an easy jump to strat find, but just as an example, and we will go from there. So first of all, you would add a couple ticks again, have them sprint, set to user position, and have them jump. Now the first thing is we're jamming with sprint enabled, and of course that won't fit on this block. Or actually it will fit on the block if we allow for a turn there, because this will not be a very beautiful turn. So this tick must be on the block. I set a constraint on the first tick to allow for a start position, solve, and of course the landing tick. If I solve it now, of course I need to set the start tick to 1 and the end tick to 21, and then press the hotkey H to apply the slipperiness values. And if I solve now, you can see, okay, it's even possible with jamming from that position. I have force 45 enabled as well. And yeah, this is obviously not a good human solution. We can make it a bit more human by removing the strafe keys and setting the inputs to keep and derive. That way it will not strafe anymore, but a jam is still way too powerful on this little block here. But what we can do is, first of all, let's remove the first couple sprint ticks. So in this case, this would be a 4 tick, and it appears to not be solving anymore because we need the run tick here. So let's add a run tick here. The constraint's over, and now solve. And now we can see, okay, it does a force momentum, I think 4 tick, and we have barely any yaw changes, but we can even make it a no turn by adding a df constraint. And this basically means don't change the yaw value on this tick. And maybe this is already enough. No, it does a lot of changes there. So in this case, we will just copy it all the way down here up until the landing. Now this might be a bit tedious. And if we solve now, we see there's no angle change except for this first one. And it will also find a very good starting position. So where do we land here? Almost at the edge. If I, for example, move it away from here and solve it, it will find this position again. And this very, very quickly. As you see, this takes only 1 millisecond to find. So this is very fast. Let's take a look at it. And it's just a force momentum strat. The cool thing about this is I could, for example, add 1 sprint here and solve it again. Now it found a 3 tick, 2 tick, I don't know, and 1 tick, and of course max force momentum method can find all of these. And that's pretty much instantly. In this case, the last one took 4 milliseconds. If I solve it again, not even a full millisecond, just half a millisecond here. And this is very, very quick and very fast to iterate over. And now what you can do is just from these constraints, make it harder. Let's take, for example, an anvil and place it right here. Then we just need to remove the constraint and place it on the anvil again. And if we solve now, we see it still lands with a no turn on the anvil on, this is force momentum 2 tick. Does it work with a 3 tick? Yes. Does it work with a 4 tick? And it appears to not be working anymore with a 4 tick. I'm not 100% sure if this is actually really not working, but what we could do is select a tick past the jump, hold shift, and if I now shift this tick around, we can't fall off this block anymore because it tries to keep this tick at this exact Y level. And if we would fall off, it would not be at that exact Y level. And now we have aligned pretty much this jump tick perfectly on the edge, as you see, 0.300, 0.300. And now we can inspect the tick that is supposed to land. We see we are around 0.0035 off here and around 0.0035 8 off here. So this might not be possible with a no turn. And yeah, I think that is pretty cool. But let's maybe make this jump a little harder. So for this, I have prepared these blocks right here. And let's just put the path right here. Or maybe let's just create a new one. All right, here we got the path. The player is jumping immediately. Let's maybe align it somewhere here, have it jump here again. And I guess we want to jump instantly here as well. And then let's put this tick there. Put this landing tick here and put this landing tick here. And of course, don't forget this tick for the algorithm to search the space as well. And now we just need to start from tick 1 and to tick 35. Press H to apply the slipperiness values and V. And in this case, it has an anvil bug. If I click on there and resolve, it lands on the anvil. Okay, what can we now do to make it harder? Maybe this will still land to a stair. So let's see if we can make it a stair. Remove the constraint, put it back on the stair and solve. Yes, this still works onto a stair. We are currently force 45ing. Maybe we don't want that, so we remove that. It's still possible without a force 45. And now let's see if we can make it a no turn up until this jump tick there. I mean, the first part is already a no turn, and yeah, this is sadly a bit annoying. I probably need a better way of doing it. Let's keep it until there. Yeah, this still works, so let's continue. Moving it down, still works. Okay, here it apparently stops working. Why is that? Probably because at some point you need to start turning in this direction, otherwise you will just not have enough momentum to go there. So, and it appears that this one is the last tick where it does work. But what we could do now is, instead of having the turn here, we could start strafing and see if this will still work. So let's move it all the way down. And as we see, we now have a no turn up until the jump tick. I believe the jump tick still needs that. Maybe we can put an A there and it works, but I guess this is not strong enough. So we will sadly need that there. So now we have a strat like this, which is no turn up until the jump tick. Let's take a look at it. And yeah, I think this is quite interesting. Of course, we could now replace this block here and put a full block here and see if this still works, because I can't really enforce the player having to land on the cobble stair there. So let's do that real quick. This is now also very easy to do. Of course, we probably need a different amount of no turn parameters here. So this still works. And maybe if I just add a strafe here. Okay, now we are running into the wall, in this case, just as a constraint. And let's see if we can get it no turn up until what point, where we are going to have an issue here. So this still works, this still works, this still works. Oh wow, it actually does work all the way up until here. Okay, so this is again a no turn up until this point, where you will have to have a quite sharp angle, and it seems it's the only angle you're required to have. So yeah, and this can now be enforced very easily with a cobweb. And I believe that should be it. I'm really not sure if you can just force momentum it from here. I don't think so. So this is probably going to be required. Let's take a look at it. And yeah, I think this is interesting, maybe. I mean, you saw how quickly I can just, I guess, strat find this. I don't know how you would do it without the parkour calculators. I'm not a good strat finder, but I think this is quite easy and quite useful. And we can just continue like this. Let's say we don't want this block anymore. Let's make it harder. Let's put the player here. Okay, it does not work anymore. So I guess at this point we need to start removing some facing ticks here. And in this case, it's getting quite ugly. And now, of course, maybe you need some experience with strat finding. So I guess, and yes, after trying some stuff out, I found a no turn now for this entire jump with a single block of momentum. I mean, this now took me quite some experimenting around. This is how it looks like. You will start strafing at this tick, and then it's only no turn on a jump angle. And I think even then the entire rest could be no turned. Yes, so you would only have to hit a single angle in this case. I'm not sure if this is a good strat or the best strat, but I think that I was able to find this within like 5 minutes or so is really quite cool. And you can also check leniency. Let's see if we can do it when starting to strafe here. Probably not, maybe a tick later. Also probably not, so this is likely the only tick that works here. Like I said, I might be wrong with this. Let me see if I can remove these constraints again. No, then it will crash there. So yeah, let's take a look at it. What did it find? Yeah, and this is just for human strat finding and human verification, but we can go a lot further. All right, and now let me try to buff this to an anvil jump. And I guess this won't work, so let's shift it, or let's switch it real quick. Maybe this will work, and yes, this will work. Very quite cool. Now we could try, maybe let's take a piston and see if it still works with a piston. Replace the constraint. Oops, now I deleted the constraint here, and see if it solves still. And yeah, here it seems to not solve anymore. You know, I guess this just won't work. And now let's roll back all of this again, because this worked. And now we can try to take a look at if this is possible without a 45. And it almost seems like this is not gonna work without a 45. Of course, I have no guarantee that this is actually true or not. I don't know. But at least my solver tells me that it is not possible. Let's see how close this is. We are pinned on the corner pretty much exactly as you see here. And let's see by how much we land here. 0.7 also pinned at the corner and only 0.002 making it this direction. So I'm really not sure if this would be possible without 45. I can't tell. Maybe someone that is better at strat finding than me can tell. But let's see if this still works from here. From a 2-block momentum, we will see it still lands now even a bit tighter here. And now we could try to see how much we can reduce this momentum still. So let's see if this still works. Now we just need to add more constraints everywhere because it tries to use the momentum from the wall. Piston still works. What is the next thing? Probably a stair. I don't know. Maybe a stair. So let's see if it still works from a stair. And it appears to be loading a bit longer. And this might already be at least what the solver is capable of doing. Because yes, I agree, this is quite limited space. What we could do, what we could try now, and I mean this now gets a little bit complicated, is let me remove these constraints again, or let me roll it back. What we can try now is some sort of backwards momentum. I'm not really sure how that stuff works, but we can just select, copy, paste. Now we have duplicated this. What we want to do now is we want the first jump to jump backwards first. So we have this, which should go backwards. I think we want to run a tick. I'm not really sure if that's really what we want, but I think we do. Put one constraint here and the rest should be right. And now we need to add some more constraints again because it tries to collide pretty much everywhere. Oh, this is also missing. Okay, here we go. I think this should now land on the anvil. Yes. And what we can do now is finally replace this with a stair, because now we know this setup of constraints does work. And where do we need to go in? I think it's this constraint. So we remove it, place it back. Oh, it's the anvil again. So yeah, now we have verified this. And I'm not sure if this backwards jump right here is needed. Let's take a look at it. I can't say if this is needed or not, but it did find it, and with just a jam it was not able to find it. Of course, we have not optimized it yet. We can always go in here and start optimizing. Let's do a 5-second optimization. Stop colliding, please. Okay, I think now. So optimization borders E-4 here, and I mean, we optimized to X. Yeah, this is basically nothing here. That is basically nothing. I think this is now very hard, I would say. I'm not sure if, is this humanly doable? This is what it looks like. Maybe someone can let me know if there's an easier strat and I just oversaw something. But yeah, this is how you could use the angle solver for strat finding rank up jumps, or even strat finding just very hard jumps in general. But yeah, let me know what you think about it.